I'm here in Manila, and you can barely see the skyline back there. I didn't get out here early enough in the morning to be able to angle the camera just right to where the sun was hitting the skyline just right. But anyway, I'm here in Manila. I come to Manila every now and then. I'm not a big fan of Manila, honestly, because for a lot of reasons. It's just a great big city. It has a lot of problems. Taxi drivers try to rip you off. There's a lot of corruption here. There's a lot of prostitution. There's a casino close to the airport where I usually stay, and you got a lot of bad element roaming around this part of the city. With that said, Manila has a lot to offer. There's a lot here to see and do, and I'll talk about some of those things along with the history of the Philippines and Manila. First of all, Manila is about 12.8 million people, and that includes the metro area. It's the most densely populated city in the world. You know, people are living on top of each other. This is where all the opportunities are, where all the multinational companies are, that come here to set up shop. It's a very big city, one of the largest cities in the world, and for that, you have a lot of, it attracts a lot of multinational companies, and English is one of the official languages. Thanks to the American influence, English is widely spoken here, and so that's another reason why it's attractive to the world, okay, and to the like globalization, and why multinational companies see this as an attractive place, because it's easier for them to do business here. It's easier for them to communicate with people. So it became Spanish Manila on June 24th, 1571, and there were people living here in the 1200s, and that was part of the Kingdom of Brunei, which is a story that I won't get into. But in 1898, there was the Battle of Manila, in which the Americans thumped the Spanish, and that was during the Spanish-American War. They thumped the Spanish, and they took Manila and the Philippines from Spain. Okay, and then Governor General William Howard Taft was the city had appointed the city planner by the name of Daniel Burnham to help modernize Manila and make it a modern-day metropolis. And he did that by introducing a modern-day road system, waterways for transportation, parks, highways, and buildings, all in which helped make Manila a big booming metropolis that it is today. Okay, because over time there were more and more advancements, technology, and architecture, and there were more people that came here and contributed with their ideas and their contributions that they put forth to help make Manila a multinational city, and one of the biggest cities in the world. So that we had the Japanese invasion during World War II, which was between 1942 and 1945, in which 100,000 people were killed. They were civilians, and anyone who knows history knows that the Japanese were ruthless everywhere they went. They slaughtered people everywhere they went. And Manila was not the only stop for the Japanese during World War II. They also stopped in other places like Baguio, up in northern Luzon in the highlands, and along with other places in the Philippines. So the Japanese, they were ruthless. They were here for about 3 years. It was the second most devastated city during World War II, after Warsaw, Poland. So it saw a lot of action. There was a lot of action here. There was a lot of bloodshed, and they have memorials and stuff to commemorate what happened here during World War II, which was one of the worst wars in the history of the world. Okay, so in 1946, after World War II, the Philippines became independent. They became independent of the United States. The Americans, the Spanish ruled the Philippines for almost 400 years. For about 400 years, the Americans ruled it for about 50 years, okay? And so there's a lot of Spanish influence here and a lot of American influence here. And Tagalog is said to have about 30% Spanish in it, okay? Filipinos, a lot of them have Spanish names. There's a lot of things around here, monuments, roads, buildings, hotels with Spanish names, okay, because of the large Spanish influence here. There's also a lot of places around here named after American people, okay? Because all of that is part of their history. All of that is woven into their history. It's part of their cultural fabric. And it's a very interesting place, and it's definitely good for a visitor. I wouldn't live here, okay, for a lot of reasons, and I don't like to get negative when I make these videos, because I like to see the positive things, as a traveler, and the positive things about the world. And so you won't hear me talk you won't hear me say a lot of bad things about places when I travel. I'm always going to try to focus on the good things, but I'm not going to ignore the existential problems that are pervasive, you know, that exist in places when I do travel, because I want to be fair with people that are watching these videos, that are reading my articles and keeping up with my travels. I want them to understand the good and the bad, not just because I want them to know, but for safety reasons and all of that. So there is a lot of corruption here. Taxi drivers are horrible. Okay, they'll rip you off. You have to get stern with the taxi drivers. In fact, I would recommend not using a taxi when you come here. I would recommend Grab, which is like their version of Uber. It's their answer to Uber. You can download the Grab app once you get to the airport. Okay, and then they'll come, and then you've already got a flat rate that they're going to charge you to go wherever you need to go from the airport, and they won't rip you off like the taxis will. The taxis are professionals, and they know how to rip you off. They know how to act like nice people, and they know how to hustle you. For example, I got here and the taxi driver said he didn't have any change, and he said that because he wanted me to let him keep the change. Okay, and I knew what he was doing, and I told him, I said, you're going to give me my change for this taxi ride. And I kept arguing with him, and finally he produced some change, and he gave me the change, and we went into the hotel, and I just I let him know, you know, and in front of everybody, in front of the hotel staff, and I told him, you know, what he did, and I said, I'm going to report you, and I'm going to report him because I kept my receipt, you know, and I can't stand that, and I've had problems with taxis, you know, before here in the Philippines, so that wasn't the first time that happened. Anyway, in 1972. Between 1972 and 1981, President Ferdinand Marcos initiated martial law because of the growing communist threat. There were bombings in the city, and there was a lot of problems here in the Philippines, a lot of civil strife, and so President Ferdinand Marcos had initiated martial law, and that was a very difficult time for the Philippines and for people in Manila. Okay, today, you know, the Philippines is a major travel hub and tourist hub, and you have the Mall of Asia, which is one of the largest malls in the world. That's real close to where I'm at, close to the airport, and there's been NBA basketball games played there. There was one there a couple of years ago, I think, with the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs or something like that, and so that was a big deal. They have a big arena, you know, inside of there, and I've been to that mall several times. It's not too far from the airport where I'm at here, and in the Pasay area. Okay. And you have the National Museum of the Philippines, which is there's a lot of museums here because there's a lot of history here, and that's a very interesting place to check out. You know, some of the museums, and the one I just mentioned is a very good one to check out. So you have St. Augustine Church, which is the oldest church in the Philippines. Okay, and there's a lot of other you know, very old churches and cathedrals here. Catholicism is big here because of the Spanish influence. You also have a lot of Protestant churches and Protestant people here, and Muslim people and Buddhist people, and everything. You know what I'm saying? But Catholicism is the main denomination of Christianity that is here in the Philippines. So Manila Bay is where the U.S. consulate is, and there's a lot of stuff down there in downtown. You know, back where you see you know, the city skyline is close to the water, and Manila Bay, there's a lot of shops and a lot of touristy places back there that you can go over there and check out. And I've been there, I think, once. I've been to downtown, like in the downtown area close to Manila Bay. I was there once. That was actually my very first time that I came to Manila back in 2013. It was early 2013. So as far as fiestas and festivals, Filipinos are big on that. Okay, they're big on celebrations. You have the Flores de Mayo. Okay. And then you have the Metro Manila Film Festival, and then there is the Fiesta del Santo Niño. Okay, and there's a lot more festivals too. And I'll, you know, when I write my article on Manila, and also on this video, I'll list a couple of websites that you can check out for further information. But anyway, Manila is worth a stop. It's worth a visit. I wouldn't live here. Okay, I don't trust the taxis. There's a lot of corruption here. If you look like people like me, or you look like somebody who's not Filipino, you know, business owners tend to take advantage of that. Okay, and taxi drivers, when they see you and they see that you stand out and they see that you're not Filipino, they will try to get money from you. They assume that you have more money than they do, which in a lot of in a lot of cases that's absolutely true. So you know, you just got to be careful everywhere you go in Manila. Keep your belongings close to you. There is crime here, okay, and but there's a lot of really interesting things to see. Filipinos are some of the most friendliest people that you'll ever encounter in your life. They really are. Okay, they're great people. They're awesome people. They're very easy to talk to, very affable people. And so, you know, with that said, I hope that you will come and visit Manila, and I will do more videos and documentaries on Manila in the future. It's a great place. The Mall of Asia is a must-see. If you do come to Manila and you're only here for about 2 days, you have to see the Mall of Asia. We don't have to, but it is a tourist attraction that is highly recommended by me. And so anyway, have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you when I get to Boracay. Take care. Peace out.